यही चलेगा अभी ग्रामी ले आओ सेंटर में आवाज लुक हियर सर हाँ सर यानी कि स्माइल सर पास सेंटर में सेंटर में.
Thank you so much, and first of all I'd like to thank Leela Hotels for not only helping me out in my journey but also allowing me to be a part of their family. I think a big round of applause to Leela. So as we are all here to try to change that, but so what I'm going to be doing is that the only kind of music that I make is about, as I mentioned, about the environment, about social impact around those areas, but most importantly about celebrating our country and what we stand for. Because I've always believed that, especially the younger musicians in India, we always feel that to get international recognition, one has to, create music in English, one has to create Western music, which is actually not true, because the musicians who have actually gotten international accolades all over the world, people like Pandit Ravi Shankar, people like Pandit Vishnu Bhatt, people like Anushka Shankar or Ustad Zakir Hussain, these are the people who have actually broken cultural barriers and gotten accolades all over the world, and these are musicians who have dug deep into their roots and made music based on what makes them uniquely Indian, and I think that's going to be really important for us to understand. So now coming to what we are going to be presenting today, every country has got a national anthem. Every country has got a national anthem, and every country is recognized by that particular national anthem and that piece of music, and that is the power of music. But at the same time, most countries, their national anthems are a little controversial, or some people like it, some people don't like it, or some political party creates some problems about the national anthem and says that this is not what is representing our country. Whereas India is very different, where the national anthem is the most revered piece of music that we have. Across political ideologies, philosophies, backgrounds, cultures, traditions, language barriers, geographic location, everybody in India absolutely love our national anthem. And again, when the first few notes of the national anthem is played, everybody feels a very, very strong sense of patriotism and love for our country and pride for our country. And I'm no different being an Indian. In fact, the first piece of music that I ever learned as a human being is basically the Indian national anthem, before I even learned nursery rhymes or before I learned lullabies. So the anthem and the music is completely in my blood, and it's something that I absolutely love with all my heart. It's a piece of music that is my favorite piece of music in the whole world. So in the past, I've created many versions of the national anthem. In my professional career, I've had a professional career in music for the last 24 years. In these 24 years, I've created 3 versions of the national anthem in the past. So one I created was for the COP21, that is the climate change conference which happened in Paris in 2015. So the Paris Climate Change Conference, or the COP21, was the largest conference of nations from all over the world. 195 countries coming together, that is world leaders, presidents and prime ministers from 195 countries coming together to try to understand what climate change is and how to mitigate the effects of climate change and create a future that is better for our future generations. So over there I created a version of the national anthem which is dedicated to the forests and wildlife of India, because I believe that all of us believe that India is much more than just human beings. India is defined by our forests and wildlife, our beauty is defined by our forests and wildlife, our sustainability is defined by beautiful forests and wildlife, and in fact, we as human beings have been in this on this land for only 3 lakh years, but our forests and wildlife have been here for 3,000 lakh years. So to signify all of this and to signify that even the forests and wildlife are a part of our country, I created a version of our national anthem, which was quite successful and played all over the world. The second version I created last year, that was in 2022. India has been home to a lot of refugees from all over the world, and these refugees who come to India, they feel very welcome in India. They feel welcome as if it is their new home. And some of these refugees are fantastic musicians. And some of them have been forced to leave their country because they are musicians. Sometimes they have left on the threat of death or under dire circumstances, just with the clothes on their back. They've had to leave the country, and India has been a very welcoming home for them.
As if it would be a free thing. So I had that question, okay, how would you keep a track that thing is not being tampered, and this is just a music of like national anthem? I
think that will be sort of what I'm hoping for is that it's difficult for us to keep track about these things, even if it is a film song or whatever. It's difficult to keep track of people who are desecrating, our art. But I'm hoping that since this is a national anthem, and with so many of us who love our country, I think it will be done, you know. If somebody tampers with the anthem and desecrates it and does it in a bad way, I think people will automatically troll those people, you know. So I think that will happen. I'm hoping that that happens automatically, where everybody come together and they sort of like, you know, help us out and they ensure that a disrespectful version of this does not show up.
I just mean to think yours is just a music.
Correct, it's instrumental.
I want to sing my national anthem.
So you
along with that thing, you know. So if that permission is there, I just need to take that.
You can just sing it, because if it's respectful, then nobody is going to tell anything. Even I'm not going to say anything about it.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm going to be very strict that it's only going to be this, because somebody put some visuals to it which is absolutely amazing. That's also fine. The only reason why I put this caveat is that to prevent any desecration of it. But obviously somebody can use just the instrumental if it is, let's say, it's a school assembly and there is no big screen for it to be played. Then somebody can just play the music. It does not matter, as long as everybody is respectful to it. Because that's my main objective. You have to be respectful to it. So even if there is no video to it or you change the video, that's all fine. But at the same time, it's very important to have the respect for the anthem, also to India. So they were very happy to do this, and I've collaborated with them, as I mentioned, multiple times in the past. In fact, 2 to 3 times I've collaborated with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, but not with this size. So this was the largest size that I've collaborated with, and so basically that when I voiced it out to them that, you know, I would like to record the Indian National Anthem, they were just happy to do it. They were very, very happy to do it. And especially now that there is a claim that this is the biggest symphony orchestra to ever record the Indian National Anthem, that made them even more happier, because at the end of the day, you know, British and Indian relationships have never been better than what it is today. So everybody is very, very happy. And it's a new India at the end of the day, you know, like this also signifies that, you know, that people want to do things for India. People want to, you know, collaborate with Indians. People want to showcase India in a beautiful way to show that we are friends. Prime Minister Modi's visits also, if you look at it, to France and to USA. In fact, I was there at the state dinner when Prime Minister Modi and President Macron were having dinner. So it was me sitting down, then President Macron and Prime Minister Modi at the dinner, you know. So, and I was privy to their conversations. I saw how amazing it was, how much of respect the French President was giving our Prime Minister. And the French President having conversations with me, you know, about our relationships and all of that stuff. So I believe that, you know, that people all over the world want to do things for India and want to collaborate with Indians, and this is a great testimony to that. That is when I uploaded the files to our editor, who is in Bangalore, and so by the time I landed over here, the edit was ready.
Wow.
So that is how it was done. It was done in record time, and yeah, so basically that. So right now the anthem, you all are the first people besides me who has watched this anthem today.
Lucky.
So because it is just literally ready just now. So right now is when the discussions will start, because without having anything in my hand, it's impossible to have discussions with the government and to showcase, you know. So, and the other thing what I wanted to mention is that since it's free for all, on August 14th at 5 p.m. eve of Independence Day, my sincere request to everybody is that we are not going to be releasing it on one channel and everybody go over there. So what I'm going to do is that if you all can leave your details, like, you know, email IDs or WhatsApp numbers with Neeraj ji, then what I will do is that I will send the anthem on 14th in the morning to everybody. And if you all can just hold off releasing the anthem till 5 o'clock, that would be really good. And I would sincerely appreciate that. From 5:01 onwards, you all can just post it in your own, on your own channels, wherever you all want, on whichever channels. And also you all can add an introduction yourself. Like, for example, if you've got your own channel, you can just add like a 45-second or 30-second introduction describing it, and, you know, and attach it to the video and put it out. So I would be very, very grateful if everybody does that. Even if it is on your own personal social media, please upload it, because we're not looking at just one upload where everybody goes there. We want everybody to upload it. Yeah. It's not been very long. It's been about 3 months. So 3 months back is when I got the idea that we should be doing this and I should be doing this, and that is when I approached the orchestra and, you know, and came up with the score, because it's very difficult to come up with that score, because every musician needs a sheet in front of them, you know, of what to play. So to write that score and to come up with it where everything comes together beautifully, because until the orchestra plays it, you do not know how it's going to sound, you know, with all these musicians together. So that took a while for me to actually write it and to understand that this is going to sound good. And then the experience of hearing the orchestra playing it to you is an experience which is unparalleled, because you're in that room and the orchestra is playing your music back to you, whatever you've written. They're playing it back to you. That is like there is no way words to describe how amazing it feels to listen to 100 people playing it back to you in the same room. So that was so it was 3 months to answer your question. The second thing about reaching to the grassroots, one thing is one way that I've answered it is that it's free for all. So anybody can use it for whatever purposes they want. And of course, I need the support of the press, because at the end of the day, traditional media is what is most important when it comes to television and print media, where to get out to as many people as possible. Everybody's got mobile phones, so sharing it on WhatsApp and all of that stuff, because there's no restrictions for it, so anybody can share it however they want. So I'm just hoping that organically it reaches. Neighboring art galleries नहीं जाएगा और देखेगा सब लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, मैं भी ऐसा ही करूँगा, जो क्या ट्रेंड में है ऐसे करेंगे and all that stuff. He would dig deep into his own soul and he would make a piece of art which is representative of him. And if I wanted to know what kind of a person Vincent van Gogh is in real life, I'm not going to read a book about him. मैं उनके सारे तस्वीरें देखूंगा and मैं जज करूंगा कि ये कैसा आदमी था. Tormented आदमी था, वो थोड़ा सा weird किस्म का आदमी था. I'll judge his paintings and I'll do that. But right now, when it comes to musicians in India, everybody's dream is that as soon as I become a musician, मुझे Bollywood करना है. मैं जब बोलता हूँ लोगों को कि मैं composer हूँ, first question पूछते हैं कौन सा film? तो ये इंडिया में है. And that is why all the music in India is basically, or not all, but most of the music in India is basically either a love song or an item song. And कभी-कभी मैं सोचता हूँ कि ये जो बहुत अच्छे composers हैं, बहुत अच्छे human beings हैं, genuinely they are very, very good people, they are not listening to their own music. They are not the kind of people who will sit down at home and listen to their own music. Because they are not the kind of people who will listen to an item song, So that I feel that in some way that has to change. And for me, the reason why a lot of people ask me that, "Arey, thoda sa fame aa jayega, if you do Bollywood, and then your songs also will get uplifted." But I do not believe that. Because many times, like if you look at a composer like Vishal Dadlani, okay, Vishal, a very good friend of mine, a fantastic human being, a really, really good person. So, and I've known him for the last 23, 24 years. Now, he does Bollywood music, but Bollywood music is far more popular than his pentagram music or his music that he does from the heart, which is all about social messages. People know him only that. And if he performs his pentagram music, people in the audience shout that, "Sheila ki jawani karo, ye sab karo," So basically what I'm trying to say is that I would rather be very less known for songs that define me as a person, rather than being extremely well known for songs that do not define me as a person. So that's it.
Hi.
Indian. And that's happening all over the world. It's not just with us, it's also happening with the Indian diaspora. Because I go everywhere. My music is predominantly Indian. And I see that I'm able to perform my music anywhere in the world, to audiences everywhere. Like for example, I recently performed at the World Health Organization, the WHO headquarters in Geneva. There was not a single Indian person in the audience. It was just people from all over the world, mainly Europe and America and Australia and Africa, all these countries. And our entire set from beginning to end was in Indian languages. And it was Indian music. And even that was very, very appreciated. So the thing is that I think people all over the world are appreciating Indian art, and because I can only speak about art right now, but they're appreciating Indian art, and at the same time, Indian artists are feeling proud to be Indian artists. So that is happening right now because, where's that?
Right में, center में,
और सेंटर में
सर यहाँ देखिए, सर यहाँ, सर एक फोटो के साथ
क्या यहाँ पर? आपको कवर कर